Prince Harry, there was a plan, whatever you might think, when he married the former cable TV actress Meghan Markle. If you remember, her dream, allegedly, was that she and Harry were going to live a life outside the celebrity bubble. Nobody believed it, but apparently Prince Harry did, you know, and they were even going to do sort of conservationist work living out in Africa. Do you remember the picture where she was helping him on that safari with the elephant and stuff? You could just see she was loathing every single minute, too far away from a Starbucks, no glamour, and of course suddenly he was in his element because this is the life that apparently he truly wanted to go down that particular route. And Meghan dangled that carrot and said it was her life too. If you remember the engagement video, she said she was going to hit the ground running. Yes, running back to California, spending his money. But what's interesting is Prince Harry had a model, and he looked at this particular model and decided that this could be the life for him and Meghan Markle. So what went wrong? Let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Nice to have your company. By the way, I'm glad you all found that amusing of me on top of that bus in Brighton. What a bone shaker that was. No cushions there, rubber rings for hours, I'm telling you. Oh, goodness. I mean, I know they have these seats. I'm sure they have them in your part of the world where, you know, when it rains, it just goes through. But you try sitting on that for an hour with somebody speaking to you in earplugs. Yes, not comfortable at all, but was funny. Yeah. And, you know, people are a bit divided about Brighton. Yes, it's certain areas are run down, but that's like anywhere you could look in the world, isn't it? There's some beautiful areas. And then, of course, there's some areas that need some regeneration, a bit like me. Well, yes, of course. We're all looking for regeneration, aren't we? It's like Mr. Spock in Star Trek. Now, back to your royal story of the day. Apparently, Harry did have a plan, and the plan was quite simple, really. You know, he did want this half in, half out, but he presented this in the mould to our late monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, as in a sort of plan that he felt could work for him and his wife. But you see, the Queen was far too savvy. She'd already sussed Meghan Markle out on that royal train. Whatever you thought about that particular trip, I could tell you some things behind the scenes that went on that I'm not allowed, sadly. But the bottom line was she'd sussed Meghan out. She knew that she was never going to bar herself into charitable work, getting up at the crack of dawn, going to see people like the Duchess of Edinburgh does, that sort of stuff, without the glare of a spotlight. We saw that on those royal walkabouts. She was always looking for the red light on the camera. And once you spot that, then you realise that that's really what it was about. But Harry, you see, he based his plan on another loving royal couple, that of Zara and Mike Tyndall. And the reason being, and Mike's a lovely lad actually, he's from Yorkshire, you know, from Wakefield, and you get the feeling that he's just very down to earth, nothing phases him. But what Harry particularly liked was the fact that they had the benefits of being invited to the big royal events, you know, because of course it's the Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, and that worked very well. But you know, she didn't get a title like her brother. So consequently, she was able to take a different life, as it were, a different route. And that was the idea that the Princess Royal wanted for her two children. Harry liked that as a format and suggested that to Her Majesty the Queen, as ever allegedly. It wasn't something, though, that Her Majesty was keen upon because she saw how much they would need extra help moving forward in the 21st century for the British monarchy. And she also spotted the fact that Meghan Markle had no intention of popping back and forth. But of course, the association of standing on the balcony, say, for trooping the colour and stuff like that, will be very beneficial. Remember, this was a monarch that's been on the throne for 70 years, and there's no two ways about it. She'd seen it all during her long reign. And sadly for Harry, the idea of emulating Zara and Mike in their own plan was never going to be. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.